Angat TV Episode 1, Marcos Cronies. During the administration of former Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos, his friends and associates, known as Marcos Cronies, received various benefits such as legal assistance, political favors, and business monopolies. The term, cronies, was coined by Marcos critics and the media, and it continued to be used by the Philippine government after Marcos was removed from power. These cronies were given government commissions, projects, and funds, many of which were later found to involve corruption and misuse of funds. They were also given influential positions in both the government and private sectors to allow the Marcoses to control the country's major industries. Juan Ponce Enrile. Enrile served in various positions in the Marcos administration, including Commissioner of Customs and Defense Minister. The administration staged an attack on Enrile's part to justify declaring martial law, which Enrile later admitted was faked. During martial law, Enrile had control over the armed forces, which committed human rights abuses and summary executions. Enrile was also involved in corruption, including smuggling goods and giving concessions to politically favored logging companies. He was implicated in the coconut levy fund scam, where funds meant for coconut farmers were allegedly used for personal and business purposes. Antonio Florendo Sr. was a prominent banana magnate in the Philippines. In the 1940s, he began cultivating relationships with influential politicians in Davao City, where he operated his business. He financially supported Ferdinand Marcos' presidential campaigns in 1965 and 1969 and allowed Marcos to launch his 1969 presidential campaign on his Davao estate. During Marcos' administration, Florendo's company, Tagum Agricultural Development Company, Inc. Tadi Company, leased 6,000 hectares of prime government land and employed prison labor. This project violated the Philippine Constitution and corporate laws but was eventually realized in Marcos' second term. Florendo also aided the Marcoses in acquiring international properties. He purchased several luxury apartments and properties in New York City, Hawaii, and Beverly Hills on behalf of the Marcos family. In 1986, a day before Marcos was exiled, Florendo fled the Philippines. In 1987, he turned over a significant amount of cash and property titles to the Presidential Commission on Good Government, a government body tasked with recovering ill-gotten wealth from the Marcos regime. He confessed to transferring large sums of money to an American actor involved in the Marcoses' business dealings and legal cases, claiming that these transfers were ordered by Imelda Marcos. Florendo also acknowledged that he owned corporations connected to the Marcoses. Eduardo Danding Cojuangco Jr. had a close relationship with the Marcos family and was both business partners and godfathers to each other's children. Together with Juan Ponce Enrile, Cojuangco was involved in the Coco Levy Fund scam, where small farmers were taxed with the promise of shares in a coconut investment company. However, the farmers did not benefit from this levy as the middlemen did not return the receipts that proved their entitlement to equity in the company. The Coco Levy Fund became highly profitable due to the rise in coconut prices, and the funds were used for the private interests of Marcos and his allies. With the backing of the Marcos government and the wealth from the fund, Cojuangco gained control over the coconut trade industry by buying out Unicom and controlling the financing through the United Coconut Planters Bank. This greatly increased his wealth, and by the peak of martial law, he controlled assets worth $1.5 billion, equivalent to 25% of the country's gross national product. Cojuangco used the profits from the fund and the United Coconut Planters Bank to finance his acquisition of the lucrative San Miguel Corporation. The Marcos government also favored San Miguel Corporation, such as reducing excise taxes on beer, which saved the company $40 million in taxes that year. Part 2 on Marcos Cronies is coming soon. Please don't forget to subscribe.